I've been using the Google Pixel 10 Pro Fold in my rotation of phones for about 6 months now, and I've got a lot to say. And while I have genuinely loved this phone, there are a couple things that have bugged me with long-term use, and you know what? Let's just get one of those things out of the way right now. This phone is freaking heavy. It wasn't that big of a deal on day one, and actually there was a sense of premium quality when comparing to something like the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7, which is much lighter, but after 6 months, it feels like it is accelerating my inevitable carpal tunnel. But other than that, the overall build quality is really hard to complain about. Some people could complain that it's not as thin or as sleek as the Z Fold 7, and I could completely understand. In this review though, I want to focus on this phone, and with that perspective, man, this phone looks incredible. It's a little thicker than I'd like for sure, but Google is going in the right direction in my opinion, even if it's moving pretty slowly. I mean, there's not a significant difference between this and the previous 9 Pro Fold, and I will say, as subtle as it might look, the hinge design right here is a major game changer in the hand and does feel significantly less bulky, which is great because as a left-handed person myself, that bulky hinge was a little bit annoying, or actually really annoying for one-handed use with my 9 Pro Fold. Everything feels premium and has held up great without a case over 6 months, and I am a massively huge fan of all the matte finish on this device. It is excellent quality. I have no scratches or damage, which is something I can't say about my OnePlus 15, but that's for a different video. The only area I wish Google would have sealed the deal is with the hinge coating. It's not a total deal breaker in my opinion, but I would have freaking loved to have seen this come with a great matte finish just like we see on the rest of the phone. It was a missed opportunity that I hope Google fixes with the 11 series, but we're going to have to see. Something I've appreciated a ton though is the size. For reference, this is basically a Pixel 10, not the XL, which folds out to a bigger display, so even with the weight, it feels great to use it one-handed. The downside of this though is that I noticed that the scaling, like on the screen, is pretty small compared to all other phones that I use, so I find myself struggling at times to read smaller text on the cover display. And speaking of which, the displays are fantastic in a ton of ways, with one potential significant drawback depending on your priorities. The cover display is not an LTPO display, so it can only flip-flop between 60Hz and 120Hz depending on what you're doing. Is this a big deal? Technically not, and it's mostly unnoticeable, but let me redirect your eyes to the price tag. Yes, for this price, we should have had a proper LTPO display that you would find on the Pro models. It feels more like Google just took a base Pixel 10 and slapped it on the front. Brightness though is great and completely usable in my bright Florida sun, but it's only really great once you truly unfold it. You get the same brightness and color punchiness on the inner display, but this time you do get a proper LTPO display, which is noticeable, at least to me. But doing anything like watching content, editing photos, or gaming for extended periods of time on the inner display is just a joy to use. And luckily you can game on this for a decent amount of time due to some battery upgrades this year that have helped with screen on time. Google increased the size of the battery, which does help, but battery life for me has only been a little bit better than I would generally get from a foldable. Better is still better though, so for that I am happy. But with these big phone manufacturers, I wish they would finally start using silicone carbon batteries. That way they can make the phone even slimmer and have significantly better battery life. But you know, one can dream. OnePlus, just go ahead and make the OnePlus Open 2. Yes, we want to buy it. But regardless, expect to get between 5 and 7 hours of screen on time with a healthy mix of Wi-Fi, data, folded, unfolded usage, doing things like taking phone calls, listening to music, audiobooks, editing photos, taking photos, and playing mobile games or even emulating slightly heavier titles. And if you do drain your battery over the day, luckily charging has been slightly improved here, and you can get up to 30 watts wired with the right charger, and 30 watts is great, but again, let me just say that the tech already exists here. We can charge faster. I really hope that Google steps it up for the 11 series and gets us to at least 45 watts of wired charging. Google, I believe in you, but you gotta do it. Oh, and thanks to Pixel Snap, which is probably the most underrated feature of the Pixel 10 series, sorry Google Pixel 10a, well, it allows you to use the MagSafe charging, and it opens the door to all of your favorite MagSafe accessories as well. And for the performance, this phone still feels just as fast as the first day that I booted it up, though a couple of things make it less than perfect. I already talked about the first one. The flip-flop between 60 and 120 Hz can cause the phone to feel slower sometimes, even if the chip is just as fast as it is in the Pro models. Also, the Tensor chip is fine for everyday use, it really is, but this is not a device I go to for gaming, even with the larger screen. I might earn a dislike from the Pixel fans watching, but I'm just telling it like it is, and remember I bought all these phones with my own money. Just go get the Z Fold 7. The Snapdragon chip is still still better, it's faster, and it is simply the better chip right now in 2026. Will it change in 5 years? Maybe, but for now, Snapdragon is just objectively better than the Tensor chip. With that said, you'll be fine doing your day-to-day activities, recording 4K 60 for extended periods of time, and even gaming with heavier titles like I mentioned before, but you do start to notice the limitations with drop frames every now and then. However, the thermal throttling is much better than prior generations. I don't notice any significant difference in heat management compared to my Z Fold 7. And for the software, well, I really don't have much to complain about here. This is classic Pixel. It's clean, it's fast, it's fluid, and it's very minimalistic. I'm running the latest beta, and man, I genuinely love how simple everything feels without being boring. Now, is it as crazy customizable as my Z Fold 7? Well, no, not even close, but honestly, I don't always think that's a bad thing, because Google tends to focus on the small and subtle details, like the way notifications subtly shift and kind of bounce when you swipe them away, or how the music player has that squiggly animation when something's playing and then it goes flat when you pause your music. Even stuff like customizing your lock screen and your wallpaper, it just feels good to navigate this phone. The animations are smooth, the transitions make sense, and the haptics are terrific. Make sure you stick around to the end to listen to my haptics comparison between this and the Pixel 10 Pro XL. And when you jump into the recent apps menu, watch how the side apps move just a little bit, and you get that nice tactile feedback as you scroll through them. And then you open the phone up and it gets even better. Everything feels a little more playful, the recents, the dock, it's all got this light, bouncy feel that just makes the experience more enjoyable. With that said, it's not perfect, and one thing that still bugs me is the lack of separate layouts for the cover display and the inner display. This is something that Samsung just straight up does better on the Z Fold 7, and I use my phone completely differently when it's folded versus when it's unfolded, so I want to have dedicated layouts for each situation. Am I alone on this? And multitasking is good, but it could be better. Split screen works great once you're in it, no complaints there, but actually getting into it, it still feels a little bit on the clunky side. The dock helps for sure, but I really wish there was some kind of quick gesture, maybe like 2 or 3 fingers swipe up to instantly throw your current app into split screen. And for a display this big, only being able to run 2 apps at once feels a little bit limiting. Seriously, Google, let me go full chaos mode with 3 or 4 apps and multiple floating windows if I really want to. It's my phone. The hardware can handle it, but the software is holding it back. But let's be real here, because where the Pixel really tries to separate itself is with the AI, as we already know. And let's start with one of the newer features, and yes, this one's a bit of a mixed bag because it is Magic Q. This is one of those features that sounds incredible on paper, like genuinely next level stuff. And I've tried it across the Pixel 10 Pro XL, the regular Pixel 10, and now the 10 Pro Fold, and I can confidently say it hasn't really gotten any better over 6 months of use, which is extremely disappointing because the idea is so awesome. It's supposed to understand what you're doing across apps and then surface helpful info right when you need it. That's the dream. But in reality, it just doesn't hit consistently enough to rely on. And that's the problem, because when it does work, it feels like the future, but when it doesn't, you just forget that it exists. So since it rarely works for me, it essentially doesn't exist in my day-to-day life. Now, one that actually surprised me a bit is voice translate. It basically takes your own voice, keeps your same tone, and translates it into another language in real time during a phone call. And yeah, it's not perfect. There are definitely moments where it stumbles, but it works way better than I expected it to, even if it has made me chuckle at times. It's better if you hear it for yourselves.
Call is translated by Google AI. In each speaker's voice, audio is not saved.
Hola, papá, ¿cómo estás?
Hello, Dad. How are you? Espero que podamos ir a la tienda. I hope we can go to the store. I have to buy some chicken for Dad. Para que podamos cocinar más tarde. So we can cook later. ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué te parece? What do you think?
And then there's Camera Coach, which I did not expect to care about this much, but I actually really like it and I use it very consistently. You can toggle it on right in the camera app and it'll give you live suggestions like how to frame your shot, what zoom level to use, stuff like that. And based on what it thinks you're trying to capture, and as someone who is absolutely not a photographer, it gives me a different perspective on what makes a photo look good. So yeah, the Pixel AI stuff is still a bit of a mixed bag. Some feels very essential to my life, some stuff feels like a preview of what's coming, which is pretty sad because this was released all with the Pixel 10 Pro XL, which was available a few months earlier than the 10 Pro Fold, but maybe once the 11 series is out, Magic Q will work better, but honestly, I wouldn't count on it. Alright, now we've got to talk about the part that's still good, but kind of a letdown in some ways, because honestly, there's just not much of an upgrade here from the 9 Pro Fold, and that is the camera. And when you factor in that massive price tag and the fact that a lot of people buy Pixels specifically for the cameras, it starts to feel like Google's getting a little bit too comfortable in this area. Like, don't get me wrong, the cameras are still very good, but good at this price? That's where I start raising an eyebrow. You're getting a 48 megapixel main sensor, a 10.8 megapixel 5x telephoto, and a 10.5 megapixel ultra wide, which is a solid setup on paper, but it just doesn't feel like a meaningful step up from the previous generation. Now, the main 48 megapixel camera, photos come out vibrant, detailed, and you still get that classic Pixel HDR look that I personally love. It's punchy without going overboard, which is something Google has dialed in very well, and the consistency is still top tier. Whether you're outside in good lighting or snapping something indoors, you're going to get a solid shot pretty much every single time. I can use this camera in mostly any scenario possible and still get a good shot after Google does its software magic processing. This is not me complaining about the camera because it's actually quite good, but I just wish it was a justified step up from last year, which it just isn't. Selfies look great as well, even if you choose not to use that cool foldable feature of being able to snap a selfie with the main camera, which obviously looks better, but low light, good lighting, indoors or outdoors, selfies look great, and especially for a foldable. In 4K 60, which is all I need, looks just as good as ever. Stabilization is respectable and colors are consistent across all lenses like we saw with the still shots, and the 4K video on the front camera is great as well, but just not very groundbreaking. But bottom line, if you have a Pixel 9 Pro Fold and your main priority is the camera, wait for the 11 series to see if we get better upgrades because you just don't see them here. And since most of you will be cross-shopping this against the Google Pixel 10 Pro XL, at least those in the US, let's see how the sound quality compares between the two. And another factor that might be important for you to compare, let's do a haptic feedback test. So after 6 months of heavy use, should you go out and buy the Google Pixel 10 Pro Fold? I think the answer is yes, but there are a few things to think about. It's heavy, it's expensive, and it's not that much different than the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. And those are some things to consider if you're paying full price for this device. I hope this video helped you out. Please hit that like button down below and subscribe for more if you like what I do. And also please hit that new height feature down below as well to help this video get to new viewers like yourselves. And I will see all of you next time.